Let's pull it up right now. So WNBA Underdog just reported 10 minutes ago that Bree Hall to sign a developmental contract to the Fever, man. Somebody said worst team ever. What? LOL? Are we serious? Get my goat out of unserious franchise. Yeah. F it. 14 guards. Who even cares anymore? Another guard. Will somebody tell these MFers they need a big South Carolina takeover continues in Indiana? I told y'all. There is something going on between the Indiana Fever and the
Hall becomes the fourth former Gamecock on the team, joining Aaliyah Boston, Raven Johnson, and Ty Harris. That volume of players from one program on a single WNBA roster is a league high, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. Fans are split, some joking that Indiana might as well rename itself South Carolina too, while others are floating wilder theories about head coach Dawn Staley somehow pulling strings from Columbia. Reactions across social media ran the full spectrum. Some welcomed Hall back, pointing out that she's already familiar with the Fever's system, brings genuine defensive energy at 6'1", and offers wing and guard depth that the team needs. Others were less charitable, frustrated that the organization used its last roster spot on another guard, rather than addressing what many see as the more urgent need: a legitimate big.
On between the Indiana Fever and the South Carolina Gamecocks, bro. I don't know what it is, but we definitely need to figure it out. Somebody said we really are the Indiana Fever Cocks. Yeah. Yeah, Bree need that defense. Another guard that can actually defend. 6'1", what the F? This team is doomed. The Indiana Fever Gamecocks strikes again, bro. Aaliyah, Raven, Ty, and now Breezy is back. The chemistry is going to be unreal. Let's go Fever.
Caitlin Clark returned to the floor, and Monique Billings, who had been dealing with an ankle issue, was spotted running drills without apparent discomfort. Aaliyah Boston was seen wearing a leg sleeve during the session, which may or may not signal anything significant. The expectation is that the roster will be closer to full strength heading into the next game, which the team badly needs given how the opening weekend played out. The Hall signing was broken by reporter Chloe Peterson, who noted the South Carolina milestone alongside the official announcement. The Fever's front office hasn't elaborated publicly on what led to choosing Hall over other available options, though a press conference from practice was expected to shed some light on the decision. Whether the move pays off likely depends on how quickly Hall shakes off any rust and whether her defensive presence translates into stops at the WNBA level.
Now Breezy is back. The chemistry is going to be unreal. Let's go Fever. Yeah, conspiracy theory. It's all true about South Carolina's agenda to sabotage Caitlin Clark by Dawn Staley using Stephanie White, man. Yeah. Fever got 4 Gamecocks, LOL. Now, some people are congratulating Bree. God is good time. Damn. Did make the call. Let's effing go. So it's definitely mixed feelings about this. Let's head on over to see what Chloe Peterson.
The fan base, for now, is watching closely and loudly. The question of whether Stephanie White is responsible for the Fever's struggles is genuinely complicated. A single bad shooting night can distort an entire narrative. 2 3-pointers that rim out by a fraction of an inch can be the difference between a strong box score and a loss. But looking at individual possessions misses the broader picture of what this team is actually doing or failing to do on a systemic level. One legitimate criticism of White is the optics of engaging publicly with certain media personalities.
Because Chloe Peterson was the one who broke this story. Now, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a press conference today at the practice as to what led up to this. 15 minutes ago, she stated, notable, it brings the number of South Carolina Gamecocks on a single WNBA roster to a league, a high 4. Aaliyah Boston, Raven Johnson, Ty Harris, and Bree Hall. A familiar face is returning to the Fever. Indiana is signed in 2025, second round.
That philosophy reveals everything about her coaching identity. White is a reactive coach. She responds to what opponents prepare. She adjusts based on what the other team expects. There's nothing inherently wrong with that approach until it starts working against you. Proactive coaches, the ones who have led dominant teams to titles, operate from a different mindset entirely.
Indiana is signed in 2025, second round draft pick, Bree Hall, to a developmental contract. Kate Martin was right there. Does the Fever have a problem with Iowa players outside of Caitlin Clark? Hey, that is very interesting. I don't mind giving players second chances in life. Bree Hall was cut because the wing position is crowded with Lexi and Sophie. I don't know. Somebody said Katie and Bree are very different players. Has nothing to do with Iowa. LOL. I'm an Iowa fan. Somebody said it has everything to do with the fit.
She refines it and trusts her personnel to execute it. Reactive coaching can be incredibly effective for average or below average rosters. A 5-0-0 caliber team with a reactive, detail-oriented coach can pull off upsets against significantly better competition. White has proven that. But when you have one of the most dangerous offensive players in the sport, a reactive philosophy creates a ceiling.
Fit. Bree also played in the Fever system last year and gives us guard and wing depth. But my thing is, when they going to get a big? Like, when is a big coming? Because as of right now, y'all are getting cooked. Y'all are getting so freaking cooked right now. Like, it ain't even funny. I can't even lie to you, bro. Oh, sorry, guys. I haven't had that pulled up. My bad. So this is what I'm reading from right here on this tab.
Double Boston and Clark kicks to an open Kelsey Mitchell on the wing. Step under the screen and Clark pulls up from deep, which she's now fully capable of doing going right. There is no clean defensive answer. And yet the Fever ran that action roughly 4 times in a recent game, not as a set play 4 times in the entire game.
So this young lady right here stated she was an Iowa fan. Now, somebody said, I honestly don't think Kelsey Mitchell wants to live in CC's shadow for her career. LA is closer to San Francisco. Also, not a big move across the country either. Bree makes more sense in this instant because she is familiar with the system. We clearly need defense. This was a good move. Kate had a quad injury. I don't know, man, but this is the article that was released.
That's not a reason to abandon your most effective actions. It's a reason to execute them better than the opponent can defend them. What this approach has done to Clark specifically is deeply concerning. Her value was never fully visible in a box score. That was actually one of her defining qualities. There were games where she finished with modest scoring numbers and you walked away thinking she had just taken over the entire contest because of gravity, movement, decision-making, the way she bent defenses without needing to be the one making the bucket.
I don't know, man, but this is the article that was released. Hopefully they don't make you pay for it. Oh, they definitely going to make you pay for it, bro. They're definitely going to make you pay for this article. Let's see has any more news came out today in regards to the Fever. Because Caitlin Clark did return to practice today. From my understanding, everybody did.
That dimension of her game has largely disappeared under the current system. A game against the Phoenix Mercury from her breakout period illustrates this perfectly. Clark scored or assisted on 24 out of 27 points during a dominant run and shot just 4 of 14 from the field in that game overall. The coach on the other bench came out afterward and said his team simply couldn't contain her. The shooting line was poor.
Like, there are a list of people that if you are a member of the Indiana Fever, you should not be speaking to. Renee Montgomery is one of them. Cheryl Swoops, Renee Montgomery, Cindy Brunson. Like, these people have gone and basically gone out of their way to go after your player. And a lot of the people that are bringing the revenue to your team. And people are being like, oh, they're just talking about, and people are being like, oh, they're just talking about, they're not talking about all fans, just the bad ones. No, she was talking about all of them. Renee Montgomery, and first of all, you should not be going online talking to an owner for another team. That's not something that should be happening. But there are a list of people that, like, if you're a Fever, and by the way, it works in the opposite way. Like, you don't want to talk to Jason Whitlock if you're a member of the Fever. You don't want to go talking to, like, any overly, unless it's literal team media, anyone, like, overly on Caitlin's side or making content about Caitlin. Media, anyone, like, overly on Caitlin's side or making content about Caitlin. You don't want to go talk to myself. Like, it doesn't work like that. Renee, this is first problem I have with it, but let's take a listen to what Steph White says. And I'm going to give my opinion on this, and I need to preface this by saying Stephanie White's a really good basketball coach. Really good. But
Boston and unrivaled even coming into this, and she is such a powerhouse that I think Like, I know she's going to be happy to have Caitlin back because that was one of the high targets in the league. I know she's going to be happy to have Caitlin back because that was one of the high targets in the league of that 2-man game. So what does that look like now? Even Raven moving Caitlin off the ball, having a 2-man game with Aaliyah Boston, like, you have a lot of weapons, and people sometimes don't realize, like, that's when, like, the coaches now, it's your job to mesh that whole thing together and make it work.
Yeah, I think creating space for C and AB to do what they do in the 2-man game, you probably aren't going to see it necessarily on the first side of the floor anymore. Everybody's game plan is ready for that. I think playing more, everybody's game plan is ready for that. I think playing.
That's basically what I got to. Everyone's game plan is for the pick and roll, so we're not running the pick and roll. That is the Steph White. Everyone wants a full court press Caitlin, so we're going to make her give the ball up. Like, Caitlin Clark. If Caitlin Clark gets full court press, she creates an advantage. And there are situations she should give the ball up. If Ryan Howard is picking her up. If Paige Beckers is picking her up, Caitlin Clark just needs to go, meep, meep, I'm running a layup. If AZ running a layup. If AZ Foot's picking her up. There's a reason why I didn't pick her up full court. But this is a huge problem, and this is what the problem I have with Stephanie White. Stephanie White, I tweeted out. Stephanie White is not insane. Saying, oh, well, they prepared for us, so we're not going to run it. There are different coaching philosophies. There are absolutely different coaching philosophies. And she is a reactive coach. You can be a proactive coach, you can be a reactive coach. A proactive coach, a Mike D'Antoni active coach. A proactive coach, a Mike D'Antoni, a Steve Kerr, I'm just trying to get off the top of my head, even in the a Cheryl Reeve, a Carl Smesco, a Nate Tibbetts. On the offensive end, Nate Tibbetts is very reaction. Nate Tibbetts just throws 75 different defenses at you, but he's doing that to impose his game on you. There are proactive and there are reactive coaches. What can a proactive coach do? A proactive coach can take a really good team and send them over the top, can get them playing well. A reactive coach, if you have the best team in the league, can only bring them down. I don't believe the Fever are the best team in the league. But if you do believe the Fever are the best team in the league, a reactive coach can only bring them down. You need a proactive coach. You need a coach that is basically says, we're the best team in the league, we're going to play our game, they're going to have to deal with it. And not, well, our opponents are going to do this, so they're expecting us to do this, we're going to do something different. Or